Doing sports talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now a little heavyweight news, or just boxing news, but heavyweight news. A couple of days ago, your boy Carlos Takam, heavyweight contender Carlos Takam, beat your boy Jerry Forrest, right? In a fight that should have been Jerry Forrest versus your boy, what's the man got dope, man, the big dude, 300-pound dude, Jarrell Miller, right? Got doped again, and they thinking about giving him a life ban or some kind of ban for sure. So as usual, Carlos Takam stepped in with less than 2 weeks' notice, and this is a pattern through his career. I consider Carlos Takam a top 10 heavyweight, and I just do. I just think if you look at really what he's done, which people probably won't do, he's from France, and you don't hear about him that much, but he's always in these fights and things happen. Let's just check Carlos Takam. He beat a dude named Gashi, who was 17-1. He beat Maldonado, which everybody's not beating Maldonado. Fabio Maldonado. He's only lost to people like Takam and Michael Hunter, who's also a top 10 heavyweight. People pays attention, right? Um, Now, he beat a Tony Thompson, right? When it was not easy to beat Tony Thompson. Tony Thompson's another guy who always fights on short notice, all the time. He was on short notice on most of them fights he was fighting. I always wish that Tony Thompson would get, a fight where he's got, a good 10 weeks to train for somebody. It would be a lot closer. But, Carlos Takam beating Tony Thompson, and Carlos Takam's only 6'1", guys, right? He's up there about them 240s to 250, right? But he's only 6'1". So he beat Tony Thompson. He beat Michael Grant and Francois Botha. Michael Grant's huge. We know how tall he is. He beat Francois Botha. But here's another fight that he was in that was awesome. He tied Mike Perez. See, Mike Perez is a southpaw, Cuban, but he's also kind of small, 6 feet. 6 feet, so that was one of them fights. And that was a barn burner of a fight. And he tied him when Mike Perez was undefeated. So he's always in these fights. But he's known for the losses. And that's what I want to focus on because the losses, the only loss that I really think, damn, that was one you could have got when he was fighting Derek Chisora. He was beating Derek Chisora and he got stopped late, got clipped, got stopped late against Derek Chisora. And I don't know how much time he had before that fight, but that was a loss that I'm pretty sure because he was winning the fight when he got clipped. So that was one with just lost, no sour grapes. Chisora got him, and that's it. But without his loss to Anthony Joshua, right? That fight was less than 2 weeks' notice too. He found out about that fight very late. It was 10 days' notice to fight Anthony Joshua. Now everybody that watched that fight knows, hey man, he was in the fight. Joshua was winning the fight, no doubt about it. But there was a late stoppage, I think round 10. He did not have to stop that fight. He was still fighting. They stopped that at the time because Joshua had this KO series going, right? And they didn't want to break that. But definitely Carlos Takam could have finished that fight. He was not winning it. He should not have been winning it against one of the very best heavyweights, Anthony Joshua, 6'6", chiseled, and undefeated at the time. And then you get to fight on 2 weeks' notice. So that's not a bad performance, now is it? If you all things being considered, right? And another one, he lost to undefeated Joseph Parker in New Zealand in a close fight. But I'm gonna think Joseph probably clipped it. I roll with Joe. But people that don't roll with Joe say Carlos Takam probably beat him. Because the fight was in New Zealand. So let's just meet here halfway. He was in a very close fight against Joseph Parker in New Zealand, right? And that was an undefeated Joseph Parker. Hey, that's not bad. Now, here's a loss that I don't even count. He lost early. Matter of fact, I think this when he was undefeated or only had one loss. He lost to Alexander Povetkin somewhere in Russia, right? Lost to Povetkin. Now, he lost late, by a late knockout to Alexander Povetkin. And he was talking French after that, saying, hey, I don't understand how Povetkin's so strong this late. And that was when Povetkin was full of meldonium, which is an endurance drug, right? So that fight, as a matter of fact, this is what boxing bothers me with anyway. Povetkin was doped, caught doping with meldonium. That means it's a no contest. You don't have that loss. I don't even know why they do that with a lot of fighters. They get caught doping, and then boom, you still got that win or a loss, depending, if you lost that fight. So he did not lose to Povetkin. You're in a close fight against Povetkin. He's full of dope, an endurance drug, matter of fact, meldonium, and then he knocks you out late. That's what doping means. So he still has that loss. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He didn't lose to Povetkin. So he lost to Joseph Parker, Anthony Joshua, and your boy Derek Chisora. Anthony Joshua was on very late notice. So Carlos Takam at 6'1" and about 245, something like that, is a bad dude. Bad dude, 39-5, and I just list you those five losses, and one draw. So this is somebody we need to reckon with. Somebody fight Carlos Takam and give him 8 weeks to train, and we'll see what happens then. That's my only point. Same thing with Tony Thompson too. That's what I was saying about Tony Thompson. Unfortunately, Tony Thompson, somebody would have gave this dude 12 weeks training camp and say, I'm gonna fight Tony Thompson. You'll probably have a problem. And that's all of the very best heavyweights. And it's similar with Carlos Takam. So this is just someone that we should just, kind of pay attention to. Carlos Takam is anybody want to fight him, and give him some few weeks. Don't call him late, even though he coming in late. His fight against fight against Jerry Forrest, he was looking good, very good early. Was on his toes, bouncing around, throwing combinations, getting up out of there, tying him up when he had to. That's not bad for someone who just found about a fight 10, 14 days ago, right? Forrest lost that fight, definitely. And Forrest should have been ready. He was about to fight 300-pound Jarrell Miller, but he wasn't ready for Takam. So this just shows you where Takam is, and he's somebody who we should pay attention to, right? Because the guys that we always are paying attention to don't even fight. You know how many people don't fight on short notice? Didn't we just hear Gennady Golovkin wouldn't fight Andrade or anybody on 8 weeks notice and 10 weeks notice back there, and he messed around and fought Vanis Manny Rosen. He wouldn't fight anybody on 8 weeks notice, right? You got Billy Joe Saunders right now telling he with 10 weeks notice to fight Canelo. He ain't fighting Canelo. He won't be ready by then, right? Who else would on some short notice didn't want to fight? A whole lot of them. When you get some short notice, we ain't even thinking about it. So when this guy gets called on short notice and still performs, that's somebody that we should pay attention to. Because all the stars are not willing to do any fights, really, on short notice. So notice that. Doing Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.